Okay, we're about to go live on Facebook, and then we'll invite everybody in. Okay, well, we looks like we're starting right on time at 2 o'clock. We're gonna wait for people to trickle in, just give everybody a few minutes, and then we'll do a quick intro and get started with this hopefully very informative webinar. Uh, Welcome for those of you who are viewing us live on YouTube. And today's format is a little bit different. We took an extra 15 minutes. So instead of 30 minutes, we extended it to 45 minutes just to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions. If there are questions, I just want to make sure, Alex, I think I'm sharing my screen, right? We see the front page.
Yep, I see the front page. Yep.
Okay, great. So to today's theme, and we have this question come up, by working with our clients more frequently now than ever. What is going on with Project Online? Is it dead? Is it alive? Is it supported? Is it patched? Is it still secure? What happens to all the money that we invested into, customizing it and what's going to happen to that? Do we need to stop, put the brakes on? Do we have time? So hopefully we'll be able to answer all these questions during this webinar and address them all, talk about different options that you have. Certainly Project Online is alive and well, but yes, you should be planning, and we'll be discussing those options, whether you're ready to do that now or sometimes in the future. We could talk about that. And also other things that we wanted to cover, which is probably we could do offline if you're interested. We do have number of various tools, framework solutions that we can offer to our prospects and potential clients. As far as there's some free migration tools, there's POCs, proof of concepts, that we can conduct based on your specific use case. And I'll put all that information into chat. But again, I don't want to stand in the way of you in this informative session. Actually, so without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Alex, and he will start.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to take over the screen, Yuri, in a second.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So about this, can you see my screen? Do you see my screen?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me just expand the.
I'm going to move the next slide, and then on the agenda slide. See my agenda slide?
Okay.
Check.
Yes, we could see the agenda slide.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for stopping by. For those of you who are watching this live, thanks to those who are watching us on YouTube. We're streaming this live as well, and we are going to post this video later on. Again, thanks so much for taking time to come and join us here. I hope that this will provide you some input, some insights and information and knowledge about the subject. And speaking of which, let's just switch to the agenda. We're going to talk about Project Online Sunset. And I know Microsoft is not really happy when we talk about this. But I guess this is something that we would like to address as an elephant in the room by something that we will talk about definitely throughout today's presentation. Challenges and considerations. when we're talking about Project Online and migration from Project Online to those alternatives. We're gonna take a look at that. Essential features of any PPM solution. So this is something that we had picked up from some of our partners, and they had done some questions to some of the customers. And overall, I think this is spot on as far as what are the features that are required. Explore alternatives. So we're going to take a look at that, and what is it? What is it will take? What is it the first step that we think and our customers undertake in order to move from Project Online to other solutions? All right, so without further ado, we're going to just keep going forward. And here is a brief timeline about the overall solution, about overall Microsoft journey in terms of project management applications. So before 2013, we had all kinds of Microsoft Project Center and Project Server and all sorts of cloud, all sorts of on-prem and then client server, right? Client server applications. So now we are in well, in 2013 was the first release of Project Online, which is the first release of Project Server from cloud on-prem, from the on-prem solution to the cloud solution, right? So that happened over there in 2013. 2019, it was first release of Project for the Web. So this is where a lot of transition has started as far as moving away from traditional project server infrastructure with queues and check-in and check-out of projects, things like that, over to a business application platform, which is the Power Platform. And the Project for the Web is basically using the Power Platform essentially to run run the application. So, and the big question mark about the announcement of Project Online, you can see it on the slide. It has not been announced. It has been mentioned that that it will not invest. Microsoft will not invest, in developing new features and things like that. Obviously, Microsoft also stated that they will support and continue the services on for for foreseeable future. But we all know that there are a lot of things, a lot of components that Project Server and Project Online essentially is relying on is on SharePoint, right? Essentially, what Project Online is the SharePoint application, right? On top of this SharePoint, we use a lot of SharePoint features and and frameworks to run its services. So what we do know is in 2026, the end of service for SharePoint 2013 workflows. So not you may say not everyone is using workflows right in all of those applications, but this is something that is kind of Microsoft, between the lines is telling everybody that he would prefer everybody to move away from the services because those services eventually will retire. So end of service of Project Online is again unknown. It may be a couple of years down the road, maybe 5 years down the road. That's really unknown. I don't think anyone can answer that question. I think Microsoft will kind of keep the lights on without maybe supporting this too much. But that's overall kind of message to the community out there, Project Online community out there, is that we would need to look at alternatives and kind of evolve to the next architecture and technology that the market has to offer, including Microsoft. So Microsoft has a lot to offer as alternatives. So we're going to look at that in a second. I do want to give a big shout out to our partners in Projectum to providing us some of this content and some of those solutions that are also from our partners from Projectum. All right, moving on to the next slide here. So what is it we're considering while we're kind of thinking of what do we do in order to move away from Project Online? a lot of different considerations comes to mind, where we are looking at migration of the existing configuration and solutions, and we can work with you can work with a certified Microsoft partner, Microsoft project partner, right? And come up with the best strategy, how to move around and what to move, what not to move, and how to do this hard, cut over, or maybe do a soft transition. So you can work with all kinds of partners out there, including ourselves, and we would be happy to kind of come and tell you, discuss what other challenges that you may have currently with the solution, and what are the paths to move away from it. So there are obviously all kinds of custom deployments and complex deployments. Again, we suggest to work with a partner to work on that. So again, there's no date set as far as when the project online is going to be shut down. I don't really think it's gonna happen, anytime soon. But again, as far as not being able to invest into new features and supporting infrastructure and supporting and developing new features in the infrastructure, so it's kind of running on old way of doing things. And the expectation is that those errors that you may encounter down the road, these are not going to be addressed by Microsoft. If that's something that you have to go and ask them to fix something, they're going to say, well, this is on a back burner for us, and we may not be able to fix this. But all in all, the message is that we need to start thinking about this. Our customers need to start thinking about this. We can definitely give some insights as to what's working, what's not, what's working in new solutions, and let's break it down, that process a little bit more. You would see, if you are currently using Project Online, you would see some of these pop-ups and messages that are popping up here and there throughout Project Online. This is basically Microsoft, in another way, telling Project Online users to say, hey, we need to kind of start switching from this way of doing things to another way of doing things. And truthfully, there's pros and cons of doing things differently, but you will see some of those messages to go to like a project homepage. If you go like a project.microsoft.com, you would get to this homepage, the project. I think it's project, but basically, in the way, it's a homepage, a project homepage, where you would see both Project Online and Project for the Web projects kind of mixed up together. It's not really configurable, to a degree, but it's kind of a way to kind of transition to that Project for the Web, and we can get into the details of that to a degree here. So challenges and migrations. So to consider when you're planning move from Project Online, challenges are new tool selection, the user adoption, right? The system governance and requirements. Some of the new solutions, they may not have the same capabilities as Project Online. So obviously, the new tool and user adoption is tool agnostic, but system governance and requirements. So you may have some rigor in the way you manage your projects now. So think about how will that work out in a new solution. You can probably have a loss of functionality because the demand for project management features is changing. So we need more features of new modern UI and things like that versus things that we were focusing before. Custom development and integrations to consider, and actual migration itself, like when to start this, what's the right time to get on board. We can definitely talk into greater detail as far as like what's what would we recommend as far as migration or implementation of a new alternative solution on Project Online? What's the right time to turn off Project Online and turn on the other alternative solution? So these considerations that we may need to take into account. All right. So again, thanks to Projectum, they had some surveys going on, and we kind of picked up on some of those results. Definitely, it resonates with some of our surveys that we were conducting. Some of the features that are required for the enterprise and mid-sized business PPM solutions, that would be baselines, right? And it used to be not as much of a the baselines, but now everybody kind of realized that things are changing, right? And we need to make those changes frequently. And there's value in tracking those changes and understanding what was the original plan versus what it's, the plan is midway, what's the plan, right now, and how those plans are different from the original plan. So baselines is something that is on the radar of fellow PMO and PPM application users. Resource pool management, so we need to understand what the resource pool is, the skill sets, the availability of resources. This is something that presents a huge value for anyone who's implementing project management system. Enterprise customizations, the ability to create different views, fields, filters, and basically be able to be flexible in the way we interact with the applications. So that is something that very much in demand for PMO applications. Cost management and at the task level, where we're getting into the earned value analysis. This is more governmental, maybe, where it's mandatory to have earned value and metrics. So this is something that is growing in the public sector, but as well as the private sector, where we can get into the task-based, cost structure of our project, and kind of get better grip on the cost, and get better controls over the cost of the project on task by task basis. So that's something that we want to take a look at. Time tracking. I know a lot of people say, hey, we step away from time tracking, but nevertheless, a lot of companies are tracking time. They want to know what people are working on, especially when we are remote. A lot of times, and we're not in the office. A lot of us work remote, so we do want to keep time and make sure the organization doesn't lose the visibility as to what their people are doing. The third-party connectivity APIs, that's definitely out there in demand for the new solutions to be able to work and integrate with other solutions. So that is something that everybody's focusing on. So as far as Microsoft specific alternatives, we're looking at Project for the Web, right? We're looking at project operations, and we're looking at modern driven Power Apps. Briefly about the Project for the Web, again, this is like a very light citizen project management tool. When you need to run a few projects here and there, you can use Project for the Web. And sometimes some may say that, well, you can use it for the enterprise. You can use it for the enterprise too, but I guess you don't really have too much of a flavor of enterprise. So enterprise would require a little bit more rigor, and we're going to go into the details specifically as to which solution is providing what. The project operations, though, is the product based on Microsoft Dynamics. Also leveraging the Power Apps platform, and that's basically for the project and professional services companies focused on. And model-driven Power Apps, where custom solutions built on top of the Power platform, which is Power Apps. And some of the solutions we're going to talk about are specifically modern-driven Power Apps. All right.
Alex, if I can interrupt you just quickly, we're kind
Sure.
of halfway through, and I wanted to conduct a quick two-question poll. It's as always, the polls are anonymous. We're just trying to get a sense of what our customers are saying and really understand the space a little better. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll right now. Again, it's totally anonymous. Please, and I can also obviously share the results. So if you can all take a moment and just take the poll, please, and we'll be able to share this with you. Just give everybody a minute to complete it. Well, we're halfway through.
Yeah, there we can actually just sound out these questions. Are you using Microsoft Project Online now? That was a question, yes or no. And then if you are planning a migration with tools, are you considering, and then there are choices, different choices. So I
Yep,
think
almost done. We got going once, going twice, three times, and we're gonna close the poll.
okay.
And I'll go ahead and share the results so everyone can see how we came through. Well, thank you for taking the poll, and this is very, very valuable information for us.
Okay. Should I continue, Yuri?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, thank you. All right. So specifically on Microsoft, as I just mentioned, Project for the Web has kind of limited functionality, and Project Operations is focusing on professional services, right? When you need to quote a lot of professional services projects that you're working on to those customers, and then track the execution of those services. So this is more like a service-based solution, very, very robust, built on top of Microsoft Dynamics. And then model-driven Power Apps, Power PPM is one of them. There is also the Microsoft Accelerator. There is also there, but I think Power PPM is just a way more advanced, modern-driven Power App application. And there are others. I'm going to talk about the other one that we very much like to work with. And then each circumstance is different, and then every situation you may see a different need for a different alternative. So just to kind of give you a quick don't quote me on it too much, but this is our and to a degree some of this projectum's assessment of the features. Oops, let's go back. Features. So the baselines we basically have both in Power PPM and PPM Express. The resource pool management, we don't have a resource pool in Project for the Web, right? You see the power of Project for the Web, basically, lacking on a lot of these things. Project Operations has most of these things, and I would say the Power PPM has partially covering the cost management at the task level, and I would say the PPM Express is just covering a lot of these things. And I would say if I were to add like another couple, tens of or hundreds of different capabilities or features, I would say a lot of check boxes against Power PPM and PPM Express. These are our choices of the tools that we decided to kind of bring with us to our customers. But at the same time, we are as a trusted IT group, we're project management consultants, and we have all kinds of tools with us as well. But these are the alternatives that we like to bring to the table when it comes to project online migrations to other alternatives. So those solutions are Power PPM and PPM Express. There's all kinds of tools, and we have all kinds of webinars about either both of these solutions. Some of us are fans of one, and some of us are fans of the other. And again, sometimes it helps. It makes sense for one organization to use one of the solutions and alternatives. But again, we can always come and make sure we look at the problem, we look at the specifics of the configuration, specifics of the company, the processes, and then offer different alternatives and make collective decisions with the customer to decide which alternatives work better in that specific organization. So maybe this is something that I would pass on to Yuri, because I'm basically on my last slide here, right? Where we would offer free assessment and proof of concept of your current, we would look at your current environment. We would look at, we can talk about your current integrations, current customizations, all kinds of attributes, and look at the situation and come up with the, basically free of charge proof of concept or assessment. And again, the proof of concept, we have some limitations as far as how far we can go with the proof of concept, but based on the circumstance, we can definitely kick off this conversation, start the assessment, which is free, and then look at we can build a proof of concept alternative. And again, with modern tools like this, some of this infrastructure, some of these features and tools are getting configured and established in a way shorter period of time. So we're not talking about months. We're talking about sometimes days and weeks as far as building up and standing up some of this POC environments and letting the customers to understand this is how they're operating now, and this is how they can operate tomorrow, right? With some alternatives as far as migration from Project Online to some of these solutions.
Just to add to what Alex was saying, so we're very flexible, so we can start with as simple as a basic demo, personalized demo based on your specific use case. So we'll cater it to you. Then the next step would be a hands-off free trial, right? Both Power PPM and PPM Express, you can get a 30-day sort of a test run. It's a sandbox. You can go ahead and without us really participating, fully take control of the tool and run it yourself. And then the next level would be what we call a hackathon, right? So a standard hackathon was sort of supposed to get done in 5 days, but just to give you an example, and the other is sort of extreme. We just finished the POC, which took us almost 9 months, right? We started, literally in January. So the actual POC process, the proof of concept, took 9 months. That the whole deployment is going to take less than 2 months. But that just tells you how diligent and thorough we are and patient to really understand the need, to really come up with the right solution and really prove the value. Really, it's all about really understanding and proving that the solutions actually work. And as Alex mentioned, there is no one size fits all. So there's certainly many cases where you can argue that project for the web may work. There are cases where even the planner can work, right? Which is free right out of the box, right? So you have a whole spectrum. You have a project for the web, you have planner, and Power PPM happens to be a tool that's also based on a Power Platform, where PPM Express is more of a SaaS solution. So, but PPM Express again has many other advantages, such as a huge ecosystem of connectivities. And when I say connectivity, out of the box, right? Out of the box is what you could see here. Plus, there are more, and there are more coming every month. So with a one click of a button, you have a full view of all your scheduling tools, your complete portfolio view, about over 300 Power BI reports out of the box, and that doesn't include other connections that can be done through API. So we believe that between a Microsoft platform solution and the tools that we have here, we certainly can create, if you're ready, can create a plan and a smooth migration path without you completely scratching what you build on in an investment you've made in Project Online. Because in case of Point PPM Express, you can actually continue to use your Project Online functionality and scheduling by incorporating that into the PPM Express. Alex, I think we have your screen, your whole desktop.
Oh, the whole.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to kind of say. And again, well, I guess I overestimated. I thought it would take us 45 minutes, so we can open it up for questions. If there are any questions, just a reminder, this is available on our YouTube channel for replay. You can contact us directly if you have any questions through our website or through the email that I posted in chat, or you can take advantage of those free trials. I also posted the links into chat. All right, well, if there are no questions, I guess we can wrap this one up.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone for watching, and thanks everyone for watching it on YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We have quite a bit of a crowd here, and we have some of the comments that we're continue after some of these videos that we're posting. Feel free. Oh, there's a Q&A. There's a question. What about the document handling? Okay, so there's some questions here. All right. What about the document handling? SharePoint will be still offered. So the SharePoint documentation, the documentation, document management in Microsoft has been shifted to towards the OneDrive. So the OneDrive is here to stay, right? We're the OneDrive is the go-to solution for the Microsoft, and and that is something that will Microsoft will keep. So as far as documents, they'll migrate. And they actually, you don't even know that they have been migrating to OneDrives. They're already kind of part of the OneDrives. The other question. Oh, what was the other question?
Oh, that was just thank you.
Yeah. So and new alternatives have been also utilizing, especially some of the Microsoft alternatives. You'd be able to use the same documentation. In a lot of cases, the migration is very, very streamlined, and the reason for this is new solutions are much more adaptive, much more advanced technologically. So it doesn't take a lot of implementation time to get this up and running, especially some of them. So with that in mind, the migration, the ability to integrate with Project Online itself can make the transition very, very smooth. That would really the migration from Project Online to any of the systems would the complexity will be determined by how complex configurations are, how complex customizations are, and how much of this custom-based processes that would need to be migrated over to a new system we'll have to take care of. So that is something that we can definitely take a look at, map this out, and again make sure we have a clear roadmap of migration or transitioning, I would say, from Project Online at some point.
There's another question. I don't know if you covered that.
Let me see. So the ecosystem will consist from SharePoint, OneDrive, Project for the Web, Power Platform, or Dynamics. Expect more unified environment for PPM. That is Microsoft, if you have noticed, for the last say 10 years or more, have created a lot of different small components, right? And you may say, well, there's not Not to mention, there is also a planner, right? There's a planner there, right? There's also teams, and there's also all kinds of bells and whistles, all kinds of toys and tools. Microsoft just won't stop just putting in front of us, right? And that what kind of makes this a rich platform that we call Office 365, right? Office, basically everything around Office 365 and our productivity is what represents that those applications, which is PPM applications. So for different circumstances, that's why for simple projects you would need one tool. For more complex projects, you need other tools. For professional services companies, you need the project operations. And unfortunately, everything is, well, unfortunately, there's a lot of them, but fortunately, they are composable and integratable, right? So if you have the right solution in front of you that would glue together certain components of these different solutions, then you have an overall solution that works, for the long run. Um, so I would say there are many of them, but they are composable, they are modular, and this is something that what I think Gartner came out with, that monolithic infrastructure is no longer viable for organizations. We need to be agile. That means that we would have to start creating value in those different siloed pockets of the organization, and make sure they are composable. So organizationally, you can put them together and actually see the big picture. So that's kind of why Microsoft has a lot of these different small tools, and then they should be combined into one solution. There's one more question. Small components means big integration. Well, at the time, yeah. Well, thank you for that question, especially. I think we're the ones who proud to be very good at. And every time I say integration, customers like, oh, integration, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time, and it never works, right? It's like it's a nightmare. But believe it or not, we have cases where we can showcase, and that's part of the POC. Speaking of which, proof of concept, where we can show you how quickly modern tools today can talk to each other, how quickly that can happen, and how quickly you can get the single source of truth at the end of the day when you run your reports. That is something that can be done. It has been done. We're doing it every day. And if it sounds like it's a complex and unachievable, you got to change that perception and believe in that. And new tools can do it, and some of the tools can do it in certain clicks. Like I can connect right now to multiple Jira environments. I can connect to right now to multiple Monday.com environments, and I can connect right now in multiple, in a few clicks, to Project Online, right, and on-prem files. There's all sorts of connectivity that I can do even without talking to IT. I mean, sorry if someone from IT over here, but as a citizen project manager, or as a project manager who needs to connect different systems, I can connect it either myself or have organizationally be able to connect. So nowadays, this task is I would not say it's solved completely, but it's very, very much easier to solve, shorter times to solve, and that it works. And it works. So we can definitely talk about that. Right. Integration expect additional licenses for small components. The integration solution will be cost and inefficient. Well, if you're working in, say, multiple tools environment, sometimes Microsoft cover the license of one that covers others. So, for example, if you have project online license. I think it covers project for the web license, things like that. So the businesses are looking to no, that was a good question. The Power PPM.
Yeah, I actually answered it, and that was
Yeah, I just wanted to say it out loud that Power PPM is a separate solution from PPM Express. One does not require the license of another, and the licensing is a tricky question. You may need to have a license if you end up using multiple tools that you're already paying for those licenses. The question is, how do we create a single source of truth across more than one solution, right? You have a little solution here, you have a little solution there, you have Jira here, you have another Jira there. So how do you make it all work, together? And how do you combine all it together? This is where you can actually use some of these modern solutions, combine them all together very quickly, and create value for your PMO. The questions come up and they get answered right away. Yuri, are you answering them?
Oh no, I'm just you're the one that's actually answering. I'm just taking them on.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks. Thanks for those questions. I appreciate it. And we're looking forward to reconnect, and feel free to share this video. And we're looking forward to working with you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you for joining.
All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining.